You were careless. I knew this would happen. I knew we'd get in trouble.
1, 2. 1, 2. I think that's it. I think that is working. I'm just gonna double check the sound. Let me double check. Awesome, it seems to be working. Yeah, awesome guys. As you can see, it's load shedding right now. It is full on load shedding. Yeah, which means in my country, which is in South Africa, they switch off the electricity for half the day basically, depending on the stage you're in, but we are still here. We made a plan. But yeah, I hope everyone's doing okay. I hope everyone's doing well. It's been a while since I last streamed, but I thought let me have a little stream of what I've been doing lately, of a new tune that I recently did. I don't know where my phone is, but yeah, there we go. I did a new tune called Mind. It's a self-release, but it's premiered through Studio. So I really appreciate their support. Shout out to Tampu for organizing that. Let me just share the stream so that people can know what's up. Today we're going to break down the tune Mind that I've been talking about now. It was recently played on Noisy Radio, so big up for that. I'm super excited about that. It's been a while. Like I've always this year, like I told myself I would really like to have a tune on Noisy Radio, and it happened. So yeah, I'm super stoked about that. So I'm also releasing a visualizer today. I've been getting a lot into doing visuals and those kind of things, so I just thought I'm gonna make a little small visualizer. It's gonna be out at exactly 12 o'clock my time, so you can definitely check that out. Any support would be much appreciated. But today I figured let me break down the project. As you can see in front of me, let me break it down and then let me talk through some of the ideas that I had for the tune, and then maybe a little later some time I might do a little bit of production, but I think I'm gonna leave most of the production to another stream if you guys are into that. Thanks again for all the support, guys. I am super excited and happy about how everything's been going. So yeah, shout out to everyone. I'm just trying to get the screens right because it seems like it's a bit tough to be able to see everything, because obviously I'm on my phone and my laptop and I only have one screen, so I'm just gonna share it out if people want to join. If you guys have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask. I'm gonna be having the chat open, so you guys can definitely check it out. I'm just finalizing all of this stuff because I need to post it, and you know our socials are everything here. I'm gonna check the chat as well. In the meantime, let me actually play the tune. Let me play it out so you guys can hear what actually the vibe is. So yeah, let's play the tune. Sick. Yeah, I'm just double checking if the audio works. Yeah, guys, that is the tune. Yeah, we've been streaming for almost 20 minutes already. That's quite a long time. Yeah, that's the tune. Backstory. It's a really fun project actually. It was all around this vocal that I found. I was really like into the vocal and kind of what was happening. Shout out to Snuff the Devil. Yeah, I'll have a chat here, so if you have any questions you can ask away, but I'll just be going through it. The video will be up on the YouTube as well, so afterwards you can definitely go through it. So yeah, this tune, it's not that big of a project, but I guess we can go through the drums. Yeah, so this is an interesting one. If we can solo the drums and see what's happening here. Yeah, so this is a really cool rhythm. I've been really liking these. When it comes to drums, I obviously like my typical two-step kind of drums. Shout out Cole. Shout out for joining the stream. Yeah, the drums are. It's I've spoken about this in my previous stream, but I tend to similar like when it comes to sound design. I tend to make these racks, so you can see there's whenever I say racks I think of Tiger, and I don't know why. I make these racks that generate pretty much the same drum each time, but the nice thing is I can layer it with anything, and that kind of gives the acoustic tone. So if I were to solo the kick, it's simply a fundamental kick, which is a kick I made in operator, and in the operator there's a bunch of parameters that I can manipulate. It's a simple operator, as you can see, with a pitch envelope and a bit of phase, because if you have a bit of phase on the kick, it kind of gives a mid-rangey kind of click noise, and when that gets saturated and distorted, it sounds really, really nice and like analog. Because that's what, in the olden days, that's probably what happened when they would put drum samples through some saturation or preamps, and it would create this warm kick kind of sound that we've come to love, which is found in a lot of old techno tunes and stuff. So that's definitely something you can check out. If you go to operator, and when you make your kick, if you move the phase, I even made a knob for it, a macro. If you move the phase, it changes the way the actual kick transient sounds. It kind of creates a transient. So we have a fundamental. It sounds a bit distorted, but in context it works. Yeah. So you have your kick there. That's your fundamental kick. It's synthetic, so it's, in terms of phase and things, it works really well. And then when you come to your kick sample, which is a layer, it is that. But I don't think I used it in this case. As you can see, it's... What did I? All right. Oh, sick. What did I do? Oh, so I automated the decay of the... So there's an acoustic layer. So on the downbeat, the acoustic layer gets extended to create that rhythm. So as you can see, it's automated. So there's a bit of attack so that it doesn't clash with the operator kick. But now, because it's in a sampler, I can manipulate it to kind of work. I can manipulate it to go up or down, longer and shorter, and do different things. This is why I like working sometimes in MIDI when it comes to drums, because you can kind of manipulate it at a fundamental level, whereas in audio it's like kind of destructive, which is also good. But I tend to, with drums, because this is in a sample, I can replace it. I can go through my drum samples and then just replace it with a different kick, and I can come up with a new kick, but still keep the fundamental intact, which means fundamentally it still has that punch, but it just has a different interesting tonal layer. And automating these tonal layers helps you create a more natural rhythm, because a drummer with a drum kit normally doesn't always, hit the kick the same velocity. But in electronic music, you kind of want to keep things like flat. But the thing is trying to make something dynamic but flat at the same time, because it's going to be played in the clubs. So by having this fundamental layer with this dynamic layer, you kind of have the best of both worlds. You see, it sounds natural, but it also has that punch. And there's literally no post processing. All there is just EQ, just to take away the lows. In terms of the mid signal is unaffected. The low signal in the sides is affected, just so that there's no phasing. But there's literally no distortion or anything on it. Granted, it is in a bus, there's probably distortion, but fundamentally there's almost no processing on it. And then I layered it with some noise, as you can see, and it's only on the one, and that creates that almost like hi-hat, like off feel, like a jazzy kind of vibe. So this is all in one channel. And normally you could layer this and you could do more, but by having it in one channel, it probably saves in terms of screen space, but also it saves you in terms of how your workflow is, because now everything's in one little space that you can automate, because all of these things are automatable, and all of these things play a role. Like the noise level, I always try to automate it just to make it a little bit more, punchy, a little bit more dynamic. So that is that. Let me see what this is. Okay. Yeah, that it's a similar idea in this noise layer, but instead of using white noise, I took a clap and then I used grain delay to make it wider, because grain delay is a bit more random, so I enjoy doing those kind of things. And that's obviously, that is automated, not automated, that is, I use the sample offset to kind of move it a little bit, and by moving it, it really helps the how can I say, it helps the thing move, in terms of how the drums are working, because when you have the 1 2 1 2, you see, it's like your mind is going tick tock like a clock almost. Now I'm a rapper. Oh wow, that was really cringy. Anyway, what else is there? Oh, the snare boy. It's very interesting because that's not very a very thin snare. Interesting. Yeah, but it works in context of the drums, like yeah, so it's really interesting going through this project file, because it seems like the snares are that punchy, but I guess it works in context, but not. Interesting. So when it comes to my snares, I like really short snares. Jesus, not a lot, but there's a lot going on here. I like short snares. So what I did here is I used Serum to make the fundamental. I don't know if you guys can even see Serum. I'm gonna check now if I open Serum up. No. Oh yeah, you guys can see Serum. Oh, that's sick. So there's a really cool trick. Instead of using just white noise, you can actually use an oscillator. And what you do is you send the first oscillator to the FM noise, and what that does is then you're FMing it with the noise, and that way you can actually make it in stereo, because without it it's like mono, but when you go there, now it's stereo, like a bit more wider. Yeah, what's up, Chris? Yeah, I try to keep it as when I say fundamentally, Ableton has so many good stock plugins, and I've used Ableton for like 9 years, so I know how the stock plugins sound. Granted, I really love third-party plugins, like I love Portal, and I mean I love off of this plugin. This is like so good. Shout out to Flash Interface. One of my students was nice enough to give me this as a gift, as well as Portal. Shout out to Flash Interface. Yeah, that's just because they're good enough. Both. I would say it's for both. Yeah, Carl, the stab is so good. It's so good. Like literally, if you have the snare, like if I play the snare without it, it's still kind of cool, but the tail's a bit long, and now I can control it. It's a bit shorter, long, short. It's because I'm able to shorten certain frequencies compared to the whole sound, which is awesome, because I use it on bass as well, which is awesome. But yeah, back to Chris's question. Yeah, it's both to save CPU, even though my computer that I have now is pretty much my old computer was pretty bad, so I would have to use the locally based plugins. But with regards to now, I have I have an M1 Pro, so it's pretty good in terms of my CPU. But because I had that old PC for so long, I'm used to using the stock plugins, and they're so good. Like if you can use the stock plugins it basically means, so if I'm collabing with someone in Ableton, I don't really need, I know if I just open up Ableton, I can make whatever I want to, because I'm not going to be like, do you have Serum, do you have this, do you have that. There are a few plugins that are fundamentally I really love, but I don't need it. I can do everything I need to in Ableton. When it comes to sound, do you use presets, or do you sound it from scratch, or how did you learn sound design? Well, Chris, in terms of sound design, I had a very good teacher, Zane Wolf, who's also a part of Saturate, so you can definitely check him out. But in terms of what is the question? Comes to sound, let it be any sound, to use presets. Sometimes, most of the sounds I make from scratch. Like even when it comes to basses and things, you'll see a lot of my basses and things like that. I love my basses. I use like I make the sounds from scratch, or I have sound design sessions where I just mess around with things and then I use it in context. But what really taught me, or how I was taught, which audio packs? Oh, thank you so much, Chris. I really appreciate them. Thank you so much. Any support is much appreciated. Yeah, I also do offer lessons. If anyone is interested, you can hit me up through my SoundCloud. My email is there. You can hit me up on Discord. Zane, Chris, so there's Physicist. You can also check him out, check his music out. Physicist is the guy that taught me a lot of my sound design. So yeah, Zane is also someone you should go to, because he has so many different packs as well from various different things. So he's also the one to go to for sound design. But in terms of sound design, a tip I can give you, this is actually again that Zane told me. So try and make a song using only sounds that you find in your room, if that makes sense. So like in my room, I literally have like a bottle here, I have another bottle, so I can record myself like like I can slap the bottle. Michael King, I should listen to him. Yeah. Like I'll record myself drinking water, and then whatever these sounds I make, I try and use that to make a track, and it forces me to kind of break sounds and stretch them, and shout out Brandon, what's up, Reactor B. I don't know why I did that voice again, cringeworthy. Yeah, that's a good idea to do, so try things like that. That will help you a lot in the long run, just to learn how sounds interact with each other. And also get a synth like operator and just hit record, like get M Recorder, which is free. You can get M Recorder, which is this. You can get this plugin, and you just hit record, and you choose where to hit to record it, and then just record everything you do in the session. Like open up a synth and record everything. So you always make sounds from scratch for a song. Most of the time, yeah. Most of the time. Yeah, but Chris, it doesn't mean you have to do that. Presets are awesome. There's so many good presets, so use them. Use what you have. It's just when it comes to sound design, if you can make your own sound, you kind of can develop your sound, if that makes sense, because you are making it. But yeah, I love using samples and sound, so definitely do that. I hope that answers your question. So no, it's good. Ask questions. I'll continue as I'm breaking down the tune. So the snare, I also use a envelope follower to basically, what it does, it is boosting a fundamental. Every time the snare hits, it boosts the fundamental. So yeah, it boosts the fundamental, and that way it kind of makes the fundamental get distorted, because all of this goes through a saturator, and when it gets distorted, it's the transient that is getting boosted. Everything else after that, it's not really getting boosted. Let me see how this sounds. I mean, yeah, it doesn't really make a difference, but yeah, the logic is, because I'm boosting the fundamental, As you can see, it'll get boosted. And I'm using the envelope follower because the envelope follower triggers everything in terms of the actual transient. And when the transient hits, the envelope follower triggers the Q position to then boost up. So you'll see the Q boosts up each time the snare hit triggers. So that way it allows like a very snappy transient, because now it's being overly boosted, and as I said before, it gets boosted into the distortion, and that means only the transient is getting destroyed, whereas the tail is actually getting cut, so it sounds a bit cleaner. Yeah, it's a very old school trick, but a lot of the guys, dubstep guys and Culprit and these guys do current value. These are the guys that do that, yeah. I added a little fundamental layer here, just a little, because I have these snares that I've made in Addictive Drums a long time ago, and so I can just layer them like that. So what I do is I'll take a fundamental, which is the Serum one, I'll layer it with a acoustic layer, very similar to the kick, and then I'll layer them together using the attack and release times to glue them, and then I'll just distort them together. And then I'll use envelope followers and actual drawing in volume envelopes possibly, just to make sure the snare is the level and the length that I want. Because this is, you see how that's too long, where that like snaps. So yeah, if you learn envelopes, if you know how drum envelopes work, you can make any drum sound. Like you can make a snare from a vocal, you know. It's just about envelopes and understanding how they work. So another layer for the kick, the little vocal. So without it, it's cool, but it's very subtle, but that it just adds another, you know, another means of oomph, if I was to call it that. Another layer, small, very small, a ring modulated sound that gets later extended upon, but yeah, that is extremely important because it adds, again, dynamics to the song, which is very important. Oh yeah, safe Brandon, shot for popping in, bruv. So that's kind of the drums in terms of individual sounds, but on the group, what I do is I added this layer, which is very interesting, because I've realized that you don't need to, but you should put things in a space, because if they're too dry, then sometimes they can be too in your face, but depending on the mix, that's a good thing. But I've been liking doing a lot of this, like having a convolution reverb of like a live room or something, just to add some almost like overheads on the drum kit. So it just adds a little bit of spice to it. So as you can see, I had this transient shaper, but then I was gifted the stab, and without the stab, it's just subtly more, it's like more choked, and you can automate, and you can, it's like you can boost the lows, you can cut the lows. It's like almost like an EQ because it's multi-band. It's amazing. It's such a good plugin. And the secret sauce to most drums, I would think, in this kind of drum and bass, like, is this thing right here. Like with this on, and I can't even open it because my Mac doesn't allow it to. But Camel Crusher is, and it's free. It adds such a nice crunch to it, and I don't know why, but it just does. And if anyone's wondering what the C2Z is, it's this thing that I learned on a YouTube video where I think it's Bathymetrics. He uses a method of basically this meter will boost the signal to reach 0 dB, which means it then goes into a clipper, and once it goes into a clipper, it won't go over 0 dB, and that means you can kind of make it louder without it kind of distorting. I'm explaining it very badly, but the logic is to basically boost or subtract the channel so that it reaches 0 dB, because once it's at 0 dB, you can then use a clipper to boost the sound, because the clippers are meant to just stop sounds from reaching over 0 dB, but you can then clip it to make it even louder without destroying the sound. Since we're doing electronic music, it kind of makes no difference. So yeah, I had to pull up all the dogs and I said, so many times. Is that Camel Crusher? No, it's Camel Crusher. I know it works into soft clip. Does it work similarly to soft clipping? Yeah, you can do the exact same thing. You can put a soft clipper, a clipper. I wish I had a visual example, but a hard clipper. It's just basically, it's like it goes up and then it squares your sound off. Whereas a soft clipper, I can actually show you. Well, let me go wave shaper. In wave shaper. Yeah, like if you open this, this is kind of how your wave will look. If you do a hard clipper, that's kind of what a hard clipper. Let me just see if I can. Is it automatic gain control? I don't know where the option is to where it makes it. It sits on the grid. There's a anyway, that's like hard clipping it. So the signal goes up and then it hard clips it. But now soft clipping it is when you actually do this. Let me just do this, and then you do that. Well, not exactly, but like, yeah, that's kind of soft clipping it. So now it's a bit rounded, but hard clipping it will be like when it's like that. So that's literally the difference. It's just this adds a bit more harmonics to the sound, the way it's distorting. This kind of just destroys it because it adds a lot of harmonics, where this is a bit more subtle. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe with that. But yeah, soft clipping, a lot of people will do the exact same thing like as this, but they just use a glue compressor. I just like this because it levels my sounds a bit better, and then all I need to do is take the groups and level them down, and then level the master normally down, and then when I master it, I can get it pretty loud without having to distort it that much. Yeah, cool. Let's check it, how it progresses. It's like, you know what it means. It just, once you visually see it, you can realize, oh flip, you know, that's what it's doing. So there's a subtle serum. I call these crusher hats or something. It's just, again, the similar thing of using FM to widen the noise and then using an envelope to draw in the hats. And using mid side, I'm able to place the sound more in the stereo field because I'm dropping down the mids. Because without it, it's pretty wide. With it, it's wide without mid signal. And why this is important is because if I play the drums, it sits nicely in the stereo field. It's not too heavy. Whereas without it, it's too center. It's too much in your face in the middle. And because I have this vocal lead here, this little it has quite a centered presence. So by having that centered presence, I didn't want to have another centered presence being the hat. So now lay it together, it's a bit better like this. Like that's, I mean, that's not bad, but in overall it seemed a bit better at the time to have it a bit more stereo. You mind going back to that hat? The hat is, it's FM'd white noise. So you take, or pink noise, you take the noise and then you FM it, like this, because that way the signal, and you bring down the signal, because now the only signal coming through is the noise, because it's FM'd, and when you FM noise, it's just basically more noise. So you can make it stereo. So without it, I've got an email, let me just quit that. Without it, it's pretty mono, and then if I can go like that, it's already stereo. And then I just use this as a volume envelope. The only high is wide. No. I mean, fundamentally, yeah, that's a good idea to have the highs wide, but no. In this context, like where this is placed, it's placed in the region of around 1000 hertz to around 12K. Yeah, the pan is also on there, but that's just a tasting. Yeah, so that it's adding wideness to the midside and creates that phase and gives it the shuffle. Yeah, but also the shuffle is created because if you look at the envelopes, it's not straight, it's not cut, it's like it has these waves, so it's not as harsh, it's a bit more flowy. And then I did that to the stereo so that it'll move a lot. Yo Alchemy, what up? I was actually after this showcase, maybe I'm gonna also on the stream work a bit on the collab, because I was able to get all the stems in and stuff. But thank you so much for joining. Oh, this is sick. The shuffle is it's more to do with the fact that it's not on grid. As you can see, I created my own shuffle through that. There's nothing else in Serum, so it's just that simple sound. And then to layer it, we have this good old ring modulated noise. So this vocal is sampled from the Commodores. And it's really a thing of just finding a vocal phrase or thingy sound. Because I know legally, if you use less than 3 seconds of a sound, it's legal. In terms of sampling, if you use less than 3 seconds. So literally, it is not even a second long, so it's fine. And I use stab again to make it super short, but I can start from the beginning. It's literally just this, and some noise, very subtle, more in the mid frequencies because it was lacking that a bit. So often when I'm lacking something in a sound, I just take some noise and layer it and subtly bring it in through level and EQ it in the area that is not full, and I often find it just makes it sound a bit fuller. So if I take this away, then I add it, it's so subtle, but I feel like it adds something to it, a little bit to it, especially in the side signal, because it's only being played in the side signal, not in the mid signal. So that's something I like to do a lot. And then I just put auto pitch on it to make sure it's in key, just because it kind of drifted on and off, so that was just I was lazy at that time. So yeah, there's that, and then we get to the bass. Very, very simple bass. Sounds really weird. This bass sounds really weird. Yeah. So there's this bass that's going G8 with the drums. So what is happening is I'm doing a lot of you will see if I have all the automations up. So let's have that up, let's have that up, let's have that up, let's have that up, let's have this up, and let's have that up. So all of these automations, really less is more. Yeah, like literally it's one sound. So what is happening is, so serum warp A, if you notice what is happening, you see there how the bend, so I'm automating the bend, and what the bend is doing is adding, it's literally adding harmonics. So on this section it's the same note, but I'm just adding an harmonic, like a few harmonics, and by adding the harmonics, the sound sounds different, but at the same time it's the same key, which I find it's my favorite thing, when you can make like a single note sound like different notes without actually changing notes. And the best way is through harmonics, I found. So I'm adding a harmonic here, and then so I'm just trying to check what is automating what. So on the serum B volume, the serum B volume is, I think, has a different yeah, serum B volume is being automated like it's only, this is like, if I take it away, this is the sub, whereas oscillator C, I mean oscillator B, if you hear, that's the clicky part, which is also stereo. So I know some sort of things. Thanks, bruv. Yeah, that yeah, just to kind of bring a different phrase into it, but literally it's just the same sound, but I'm just automating this level. I learned this from watching Cameron Crooked and listening to a lot of the music. They play very simple music, so simple, but what it's making it so magical is actually the fact that it is being the sounds are evolving. And too many times I see a lot of producers, they're trying to fit all these like sound design vomit in one little phrase. Like it's gonna go to a reese, and it's gonna go to a stab sound, and it goes to this, and it goes to that, which is awesome. And I mean, there's no wrong way of doing things, but when it comes to rhythm and I guess making riffs and catchy things, by having a simple sound and automate it, you kind of get to the point, and you get to the point much quicker. Dude, and that's not wrong, Carl. Like, go ham. Like, that's the best way to learn. But you'll notice a lot of guys who've been doing it a long time will start to just dumb their product, not dumb it down, but they'll simple it down, like do such few sounds, because you start to realize what's most important, and that is space. So the drums and the bass here literally has much more space than what, you know, if I had so many different sounds, I don't think there'd be as much space. And there's 3 sounds playing, and what I'm using to make it sound a bit fuller is in the spaces I would have reverb throws, or like, you know, different like drum fills, these kind of things. Sorry. So context and all these things is so important. So, and I just add a little small things, and then no changes. Dun, 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 dun. There's a changeover. Yeah. So a lot of producers also, this is a big thing I learned from Imanu, changeovers. This is kind of what makes the tune what it is, the changeover. So the A and the B part and the C and all these kind of things. So just by having this, and then just having that, it makes the tune, like the dancer on the dance floor knows, oh, something's about to happen. And then when something's about to happen, you can fool them by, so normally there would be a kick obviously over here, and by taking away the kick, so after 8 bars normally you just have another kick, or you'd have no kick. You know, like it possibly would just be like this, it'd go like this, you know, like that, which is cool. But just by me moving this a little bit back, like, to me, what the flip did I just do? Oh, there we go. Yeah, sorry. By moving this a little back, it kind of adds that jump. Oh. And on top of it, the noise then reinforces, and the hats reinforce. So this section here is like an edit. So this is like an edit, and when the edit happens, to reinforce, so like there's a change here, and then to reinforce, oh flip, we need to get back to what we were doing, I add an impact noise of some kind. So, and that's normally noise, so just to reinforce it, I add the noise, so you'll hear. And by taking the noise away and having the stab sound, it then brings us back to what it was. So that's not an advanced technique, but I'll hear this a lot where producers will do an edit, and then to bring the listener back to what was happening, they would have the sounds with an impact, and then the impact using the groove will just get sucked back out. So it's a very subtle element, but the more you produce, the more you'll do it and learn when to do it and when to not do it. So I love doing stuff like this. Just a little fill. Yeah, just something simple. And also having a reverse reverb kind of a thing. Yeah, just a small things like that just help, you know. And I take big credit to Boonshin, because Boonshin's tracks are pretty fundamentally simple, but they are really well produced and well written, because he knows how to add subtle elements and take them away and add them, you know. So yeah, I love listening to those kind of tunes. Yeah, cool. Let's get a move on. My battery should last, but I'm using Streamlabs, so my battery might be, you know, creating here. But yeah. And there's another changeover. So normally, for the first 16, I do no real edits, and then after the first 16, I'll do a little jump edit, which is what I explained earlier, like. And then after the 32, I do a complete transition, which is when I take away the drums. And the reason why I do that, because then I can introduce a new element. And by introducing a new element, I can then add the second 32 bars. And that second element is sick, man. No problem, Carl. Yeah, the video will be up on YouTube, so you can check the rest of the stream out. I'm going to be streaming for a bit more, so you can definitely check it out. Those layering techniques. Yeah, man, layering is everything. So that's the element I added. So the difference between this section, same vocal. I introduced a vocal. So I introduced this vocal like second layer, which is same layer, but I'm just adding this little throw there, and then you just play around with the. There we go. I love how the vocals interact, like they are kind of doing harmonically, they are doing some form of harmonization, even though it's not really harmonization, but it's some form of it. But yeah, I just using the vocal, I reinforced the second section using the same drum elements, no real differences. The only real difference to make things a bit more different, I guess I changed the snare to a little clappy boy, and then I added a different percussion. So if I were to compare them, it's this, and then it goes to this. Completely different rhythm. Yeah, to that Zane, the Dawn. You see how it changes the rhythm, so from this to then this. Yo Felipe, how's it going? Thanks for joining, man. Yeah, we in the thick of breaking down this project. So yeah, I was just talking about how the A and B section, I just used the there's a snare here, that's the same for that section, and then yeah, I changed the clap, and just by changing the clap and adding a different percussion, it sounds completely different. And it's the same rhythm, just because it's different elements, it sounds different, and that gives a different groove. So what I did was I added another. So I added this really cool thing that I've been liking to do. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it? What Micro 7 Master Tune is LFO 7. Is that right? Where is that? I need to find where the octave is. Is it macro 3? Yeah, I did a macro. So what I did was I automated a macro to the octave. So if I move the macro, as you can see here, is it macro 4, macro 3? There we go. So what macro 3 is doing is adding a octave. So the sound, it's the same sound as previously, it's just now being pitched. And this is why I like using my basses in Serum as well, because then you can kind of, you can evolve the sound in accordance to the songwriting. So it's the same sound, but it's just now adding this little this octave layer. And the cool thing is, because there's a bass layer and a top layer in using different oscillators, the bass doesn't change. There's no layering issues. It's coming from one synth. So there we go. Yeah, what the nice thing is that again it's from one sound, so it's really a cool way of progressing your the song and moving it along by keeping the same elements, and also makes it easy. Yeah, literally, and there's literally almost no, I mean, it is a bit of, this is all mainly for mixing. I just distorted it a bit more and use the Camel Crusher. No. So yeah, it's kind of my logic with this is having a patch that can be automatable and have add character, you're saying add character and things like that, and then just bring up these harmonics. Using this, I can just bring up the harmonics, and then adding more character by having layers. So here I added a ring modulator. Let me check. Very subtle, but it's automated. Yeah, it's automated. Sorry for yawning. It's pretty late here. It's automated. Wait, but most of the work is done in Serum. Yeah, most of it in Serum. All of these are just for adding dynamic, like what's the word? It adds imperfections, if I will call it that. It just adds imperfections, and the imperfections is normally noise. So I automate like stereo noise, and like this is like a mud kind of. It's like muddy. This is like a muddy layer for the. As you can see, it just adds a bit of more oomph, and this is just automated at the end of each bar, which is a low version of the thing there. It just adds a bit of oomph because it's nice and like a dirty sound. And then I added this, quite long. Ways with this. It emphasizes the tin 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 tin. It emphasizes the transient by having this, so that's really a very important thing there. Then I just, these are all mixing things to taste. Actually use it on bass. Yeah, man, use it on bass. It's awesome. Again, the restros are a must. So that is that. And the only things I added. It's a different vocal. It's the same vocal, but a different part of the vocal. I moved it slightly. But it has a similar characteristic, which is what I wanted. And then I just added the layers as I spoke about earlier. And I know this track, a lot of people were saying like the vocal seems a bit weird or things like that. When I go through the second drop quickly, my idea was, if you hear the chords and things, I love this thing of the vocal says, I can't get you off my mind. No, man, I'm just saying a lot of people said the only thing that would change is the vocal, which I can understand, it's all to taste. So, but I like the essence of single phrased vocals. I like obviously fully like, you know, a verse and a chorus and a bridge. I love those kind of things, but I also like it when a song can use a single phrase that kind of speaks about the whole song and what it means, and can be used in terms of interplay and songwriting. So the chords, if I can find them, are pretty simple. Let me check here. I can't get you, I can't get. So it's just the I can't get, I can know that simple vocal. It goes like this. On top of it is laid the reason why I did that is because in your brain, this is the drop goes with this rhythm. So I tried to introduce the rhythm of the drop as early as possible in the breakdown, just so that your brain can recognize what is going to happen. Because I used to have this problem, and I still do, but if the drop is too jarring, then it can be a problem in terms of, like, you know, a lot of listeners like familiarity. So if you can kind of enforce subtly to the listener, like, oh, flip, this is what's happening, you know, this rhythm, the dun 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 dun, and then having the vocal, I can't get, you know, it just has that, it's going, and then you pitch it up, I can't get, you know. So you can, no. And then you just have the bold, you know. So basically, the thing of this vocal or this drop, originally the song dropped like this. It dropped into this drop, so it technically dropped like this. So if I play it like this, it dropped like this. But the problem was I had this section also, which is a bit more straight. It's like a very straight section, and I figured this would be a good section to actually start the drop off with, and then it develops into, like, you know, a more melodic section. So if you were to run through it, so yeah, the thing is with these kind of sounds, these are little breaks with the, so if I take the stab off, with it's a bit, it's just more choppy, which is what I like. Yeah. So yeah, these drums are exactly the same as the B section. So this section, when I play it, this, but it's maybe I'll add a slightly different clap to the layer, and the rhythm might be slightly different, but not really. Yeah, it's kind of that's kind of the vibe. It's a little bit more straight. It's not as, you know. And also a big thing about thanks Michael, thanks guys. Another thing about drums, it's so difficult to teach, but I mean I do it. But when it comes to, if you notice, yes, having the drums sounds glued together is really important, but I still think the rhythm is the most important. Like if I take away the percussion and just play the kick and the snare, so just the kick and the snare, obviously with a little bit of hat like layers, that already enforces a rhythm. So in my brain, or in a listener's brain, it'll go like boom, 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 boom. Like there's already a rhythm going. So now it's all about filling in the gaps. Yeah, the snare has a little off rhythm here, but where is it here? It's here. So if I take the snare rhythm away, for me, in my brain, it was like calling for, you need that little roll. So let me play without it. It's so empty here. So I was like, let's try, like, you know, it's like just, it makes it roll, you know, like just a little, like that to me. And also because I'm using hats, that whole thing of the kick. So on the one, no, like, so on the one there's more noise, on the one the envelope is longer. The fullness there, you're gonna have to add much. Yeah, thanks man. Yeah, I try to keep the drums as simple as possible, because I feel like, especially with this kind of music, with drum and bass, drums are very important, but it's so fast that if like, you need to be very tasteful with it, in my opinion. Whereas in halftime and these slower genres, it's so slow and there's so much time that you kind of need to, what's the word? You kind of need to fill in the spaces and the gaps, I guess. So yeah, that's why I find using these kind of drum techniques really help. Too many breaks come with the rhythm. Yeah, it's such a simple, like, this is so simple, like. And this is what I was talking, when I talk about, if your head is moving to it and it's simple, then you're there. You don't like like there's no sample offset, there's no offset in terms of anything. It's just kick and a snare. The only way it's being offset is possibly by me automating the noise and things like that. That's what creates the rhythm. And then on top of it, so now what I'm going to do is add the percussion, which will add more to it. It's reinforcing the rhythm because now there's more space. So remember the snare that I added this? So when I added this, I then was like, but maybe that needs to also be in the beginning. There, you can clearly see I had it here as well. But instead I was like, let me add something else. And often it doesn't work like that. This was, as you can see, it was muted. These were probably used in the beginning stages of the tune. Hey Tompu, hey. These were probably used in the beginning stages when I was still writing different ideas. But I save all my ideas, and by saving it, I can just then go back to it, because I was quickly like, I need some breaks. But I was like, when I started making the tune, I already made breaks. So let me just quickly use what I had, which is easy, like, simple rhythms. And then it's this little knock, not important. This pack is amazing. Shout out to Aleph. It's this pack, it's free. This Aleph percussion pack, I love it so much. It has these really cheeky like perks that I love layering with stuff. It's so cool, and it's free, so definitely check those out, guys. Cool, let's go to the little chord thing. Yeah, that's the chord progression. So the chord progression progresses in the second part, as you can see here, but in this section it's just straight. Same bass, it's I guess the same bass as the other ones, but I've just I took away that high note. So normally, so it's just this little bass, and if you notice, it sounds really muddy and not that great. It sounds a bit weird, but that's kind of what worked for the aesthetic of the tune. And that's a big thing that I tell people. We grow up and watching so many tutorials and like, you need to have the bass clean, you need to have a mono bass. All of these things are important, but also music is about mistakes. And if I play the drums of this bass, it works. Like obviously alone it doesn't even work that much, but then again with these chords, I just had the right amount of dirt just to because on its own it actually sounds problematic. Like now, like the bass, like it sounds problematic, like it has these clicks and stuff. But if I play the serum, your brain only recognizes those sub frequencies in my mind, so it's fine to me. So yeah, and this is just me I tried to make it's the same as this, but because I'm playing different notes, it sounds a bit more different, and I'm automating a massive peak. It's running through some layer distortion, and then I do a reverb throw at the end just to make it go boing boing. How much? I have like 30% battery. I should be able to last until the end of stream. That should be fine. So that's the bass. Yeah. This is just to... I love also having the vocals, like when you do your typical vocal thing at the end of the bar, to reinforce, like, your pre-drop vocal, though. I can. So that vocal goes, I can, boom, boom. It's like, it goes, I can't, and then the bass like follows kind of the answer. So it goes. It's I think that stuff like that's really cool. Where you can answer, you can have a vocal, and then the answer is a bass or another sound. I find that fascinating. Like, you know. So playing with pitch, also energy. So to make there's this A section here, and then there's a B section here. So what happens is with the A section, it's pretty straight. So I can give you my. So what I did here is to change it up slightly. So there's the same vocal and the same vocal in the A and B section, but to just change it up slightly, I just add a simple reverb. Because what that does is it indicates change, and indicating change is important. But the more subtle you can do it, the more, like, people won't notice it, but people always be like, oh, it sounds like something's changing and I don't know why. So yeah, Tompo, call and response, like simple. Goes up, and then, and also by having that, it sounds like a riser, and with that riser then goes into the same vocal as this, but now these vocals are pitched an octave up, which then helps reintroduce a new section. So in my mind, while I'm writing, I'm always like, how am I going to introduce this next section? How am I going to move on from what was previously done and do it in a way where it's subtle and not too obvious? So by having this reverb, and that gives a lot of energy going up like that. So, and having a layer like that also gives energy, and then obviously your reverb layer. So yeah, it goes very straight to the point and rough, but yeah, it's a bit more like, you know, just goes like, it's like giving that, oh, we love you too, Tampu. Yeah, just stuff to carry the narrative and to introduce what is going to happen next, either in your face like this is happening, or just to subtly be like, there is change happening. And the change is the snare changes. So it's first just, it was you know, rhythm goes, and now, but it's not a hard snare, it's a bit more hollow, but that's kind of, you know, your typical boom. And the nice thing is A section is pretty straight, but now there we go, change. So in this section here, which is, so there's an A section here, and there's a B section. Then there's another A section and another B section. But actually what is happening, it's going A, B, A, C, D, E, F. I know it's confusing. The point is, there's an A section here, there's a B section here. It goes from A to B to then a completely different section, C. This C section is incredibly important because it is very different to the A and the B section, but it's different in a way where it's not vastly different. It's more just like the notes are different, or the movement is different, or there's drums taken away. Because what happens is with A, okay, cool, the listener starts, okay, cool, what's next? B, okay, there's something happening. There's clearly going to be a transition in the B section. Okay, back to A. Okay, cool, you know, loopy vibes. But just as they think they're going to go to B again, oh flip, there's C. And C is what makes it a track. C is how you're going to get that songwriting feel. And how I did that is, in this section, I changed the notes. So instead of going straight, this one chord, I actually changed the notes. And then, yeah. And there's this, which is the same, but just a different chord, a different chord sound. It's just a different serum. And the reason why I did this is because in the next section, that sound is in the drop. Just opened up. It's a subtle way of introducing. Yeah, it's so different, but fits the main motif still. Yeah, it's different, but it's the same sounds and it fits the motif. It's just it's a matter of, it's like keeping your cards close to your chest. So because I made this melodic section first, like the dun, 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 because I made this melodic section first, I was able to completely break it down by having a simple, just a one note kind of drop there. You know, and that's, hey, the Cage Premiere. Yeah, sorry, just to interrupt, my tune Mind, I made a little visualizer for it. If you guys can support it, that would be great. I dropped it's going to be a visualizer, I'll drop it in the chat. There's a visualizer that I made for the tune that's premiering tonight at exactly 12 o'clock, which is in exactly 30 minutes. So if you guys can support, that'll be great. I'm gonna pop it in the chat so that you guys can see it, because my PC is gonna die in about probably 10 or 15 minutes. I was hoping it would last the whole 2 hours, but I think it's gonna die because I'm using Streamlabs and all this stuff. So I hope that link works. Yeah, I'll share this good. Yeah, I'll send it to you also. I'll comment this code. Thanks, guys. Yeah, it's on my YouTube channel, so you can actually click on my profile and it'll be there. The thing is, I only use Streamlabs because I was like, I don't know why. It's because of I was gonna use the what's this called, the backgrounds and stuff, but I'm gonna use OBS because it does save much more CPU and it's more efficient. Yeah, you are right. But I am, I just today I was very impromptu, so I was just like, yeah, I need to do the vibes. But let's continue. So in this melodic section, the transition, the C section, you know, giving birth. What are we premiering? We're premiering Mind, Tampu, the tune that I released, that I self-released, with the visualizer. That's going up at exactly 28 minutes. That's why I'm trying to get through this project file before my PC dies, so that at least I can send everyone there, and then you guys can check it out. So what I really love about this section, and I did it earlier, I'm answering the vocal. The song is called Mind. So before the vocalist says the word mind, the song drops, and when this vocalist actually says mind is at the end of the phrase. So it goes, I can't get you off my, drops. That's mind. I know it doesn't sound like mind, but it's like answering the question, which I find that so cool when a song can use the vocal and then it kind of interplays with the vocal. So just to show the example again, it goes, you are fine, cuts off, I can't get you, I can't get you. So, and then again, before they can say mind, I'm constantly cutting the mind word off by having a resplay or a little note or like a fill of some kind. And I know this is maybe an artistic thing, but I'm literally emphasizing the song's name, which is Mind, because the vocalist is about to say mind, but they can't say it each time because I'm cutting it off, and that emphasizes the name of the song, which is Mind. So you'll notice the vocalist constantly says, I can't get you off my, and they can't say Mind. It's not that deep of a thing, but it's more just a songwriting tip, using the vocal to kind of write the song, because it, I can't get you off my what, and then you put the sound there. So that's kind of a idea I was playing around with. Yeah, I can get you, man. So yeah, this is the outro. It's just me playing the chords, some choir vibes, and then I just change a bit of the chords at the end. What now, Zane? SAS chords, yeah. I just left it on that chord so that it doesn't sound finished. I think I didn't even go over the intro. I don't know if people are into intros, even though I feel like they're so important, but how I build up the track. Just the chords. Yeah, I like these kind of chords. It's like biting. It sounds like it's being bitten, like this biting kind of chords. So I layered these. Yeah, it's all about with I found with these kind of sounds, it's all about layering really, because there's this sound on top of and then using the fine tune just to make it a bit more, funky. What's the I think there's a I don't know if there is. Ooh, so this is also cool. This is my favorite thing. This is really, really funny. So this is going. Let's see if it's still here. Oh man, I hope it's here. Where is it? There's this vocal thing I always add. Okay, it's not in this tune. Oh man, I love adding this specific sound. I love adding it. I don't know why, it sounds so refreshing. So yeah. So in terms of effects, what I like to do is I like to run the whole song through various like granular stuff. Hold on. Oh, thanks, Felipe. Yeah, I love the tension and resolve and the songwriting vibe. I know in the drum and bass scene it's not really big. Like people love rollers, like techie rollers and stuff. Maybe I can play some techie stuff I've been working on. But yeah, it's fun to kind of write a song. There's a vocal and melody, and there's an A section and a B section. The A section is not the same as the B section, and there's a breakdown. Like, this section is not a copy of any of the other sections. This is a completely different section compared to this section. It's completely different compared to this section. It's completely different, and this section is also completely different. Each section is on its own, but at the same time, it is the same thing. And I want it's like I want my music to be like a Rubik's cube. It's one cube, but it can change into that's how I try to think of it. It must be like a Rubik's cube. If I can if I can do something like that, then it means I can enjoy what I'm doing, you know. Geez, I freaking closed all my applications and it's still chowing the CPU. Let's see if it lasts. Another thing I like to do is add these kind of layers. Yeah, and it's slowly panning. Yeah, alchemy, that's like a big struggle I have. I want to embrace it all, but it's tough, man. It's really tough. Yeah, these kind of sounds, what I do is I just stretch the sounds. I really stretch them. I put them through various plugins. I think the one plugin is Pause Stretch, and I just make these kind of sounds for effects, and I just layer them. So like I have this, I even have, it's called Void. Like very soft, like these kind of very like, you know, and what these sounds are essentially, it's just me going through the song and really stretching it out, you know, like if I show it here, it's really stretching it out, like, you know. I love those kind of sounds because what it means is it's in key, it's a part of the song, so it makes sense, and you just layer it. So like these kind of sounds are, what am I doing? These kind of sounds are really, really important, I think. Like if I take away the effects, like it just starts like, which is cool also, but I feel like if I just add this layer, it just adds this like environment, and it's subtle, but it's just an environment. Yeah, I literally, when I'm making tunes, I have this thing called a cemetery. I hope this is not loud. Let me just lower this. And I'll just literally, there's this, I was gonna do this on stream, make a tune or continue making a tune, but I would like sit with Serum for a bit and just make these sounds. So like weird, like, you know, like those are all basses, like these are all basses that you can use, you know, like there literally, you know, there's a little yeah, I can go through this. There's so many sounds, you know. And the reason why I like doing, I'll call this a mud pie, but the reason why I like doing this, I'm not, what's the word? I'm not actually doing much sound design. I'm trying to make movements and textures, but I'm not trying to destroy the sound too much, because I used to do that. I used to destroy the sounds. But what I've found is if I make these kind of sounds, they're so usable. Like, look how dynamic these are. Like, they're not squared off. So I can definitely, like, you know, like I can use that, you know. These are all sounds that I can use. So the point is, yeah, I sound design definitely, and if you guys want, I can definitely do another stream where I just sound design for a little bit and then try and make a tune out of it, because I have so many weird little This is me just running a drum thing. This is horrible. Horrible. That's me just destroying a freaking drum machine, because sometimes I like running drum machines through distortions and stuff, because that often you can just hit a button and then different samples play. But yeah, I'm trying to see how long my laptop will last. I'm hoping it'll last like at least 5 minutes before my song premieres. If you guys have any questions for this one, yeah, man, I have so many collabs now. I think my main aim is to finish the collab with Alchemy, and then I need to move on with other stuff. But we can definitely do that. We can also make some Akumi stuff. Like, that would be sick if you can make some Akumi stuff. Let me see what do I have here that I can. Maybe I can play a bit of the. I don't know. Is this the right version? 8.10. Let's see if this is a good version. Yeah, we can definitely collab on stream. Yeah, you end up pitching a lot of stuff by ear, right? Yeah, yes and no. I do know a bit of theory. But when it comes to sound design, yeah, I don't care. I just go. I just hit any note and see what happens. Play chords even, like whatever sounds cool. I go for it. Yeah, this is maybe I can play this. This is an I don't know if it's gonna be this version, but this is a Kunis remix. Let's check it out. Yeah. I love that the vocals kind of stuff, like the breaths. Love that kind of stuff. Your Mac will sleep soon unless it's unplugged. Oh, lovely. I probably have to. Yeah, that's kind of forthcoming. That's a new remix. Yeah, sick, man. This is my attempt at trying to make more simple drum and bass, because I had another version that wasn't as simple. But yeah, that's kind of the vibe. I think, yeah, it's coming to the end of the stream. I will say thank you so much, guys, for joining. Like, I really enjoy streaming. I'm hoping in the future I can stream more. It's just, yeah, I have a 9-to-5 job, so it's a bit tough to have the energy to do work and to do music production and then still stream. But I do want to stream more. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for the support of the tune, and there's a lot coming this year. I guess, I don't know if Tom is still here. I guess I can tell everybody I'm doing so I think for Kunis's EP release, they're gonna have a few sets, and I know Zane might be on it as well. But for that set, I'm gonna do a promo mix of like all the tunes I'm looking to release this year. So it's got a bunch of new tunes. I've like, they're not all finished, but I've like probably 25-30 tunes that I'm gonna try and finish. So I'm gonna make a mix up with that, and I'm gonna try and do visuals. So because I've been teaching myself a lot of like how to do visuals and stuff, so I'm hoping I can get a full at least 30-minute visual experience going. You guys think you said editing them. Okay, sick. Thank you, dude. I'll do that. I'll tell Tommy to do that. But yeah, there's a lot coming. I'm gonna be working very hard. But yeah, thank you guys for the stream, for joining the stream, and thank you for everything that you guys do. I mean, thank you for all the guys who ask me to do lessons. I do lessons, and I also sell sample packs and things like that. So you can go on my SoundCloud, you can go on my link tree, go on my Instagram, you'll find my link tree. You can find everything there. And yeah, I'm premiering the tune in about 10 minutes. So I'll put the YouTube link again in the chat if you guys want to join that. So yeah, guys, thank you again so much for joining. My laptop's probably going to die soon, so I should probably end the stream. But if you have any questions, if there's anything you want to do in terms of, yo, I want to collab, or yo, can you give me advice, hit me up. It's all up from here. And thank you so much. Shout out to Alchemy, shout out to Zane, shout out to everyone that was here. Who else was here? Felipe, shout out to Tompu. Who else was here? I want to read everyone's name out. Shout out to Michael, shout out to Carl. Yeah, shout out to everybody. Sorry if I missed anyone's names. Yeah, thank you guys so much. I'm gonna do a lot more. Like I know I always say that, but I am gonna be doing a lot more lined up. So hit me up. I have so much going on, so hit me up if you're on Instagram. We'll see what we can do. But yeah, shout out to Tompu for organizing this. And yeah, stream the tune, guys. All the support is appreciated. Get my sample pack. Go stream my tunes. It helps. Maybe I can leave and do music full time eventually. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. I'm gonna call it here. My tune premieres in about 9 minutes. So you can follow the link and get the visualizer there. It's just a short little visualizer, interactive visualizer for the tune. So thank you guys so much. Love you guys. And yeah, I'm gonna sign out. So peace out.